I went to college during the time when the National Defense Education Student Loan Act was passed. And we thought that was manna from heaven. And I remember going in to make my application, and the man told me, he said, we're going to let you have $500 this year. I said, but now you better work on your grades. And I thought I'd done all right that semester. I had 5 A's and 2 B's. I said, damn, what is he talking about? And I had 19 hours. That was actually my best semester in college. And he said, now you watch your grades. Otherwise, you won't be getting this $500 next year. Times are tough right now.
Yes.
And they are getting tougher. I remember a book I read. A fellow named Carter G. Woodson wrote a book called The Miseducation of the Negro. And Woodson suggested that if you would control a man's mind, you wouldn't have to worry about how he, and I guess he meant she too, would act. He said if you control a man's mind, you didn't have to tell him to go to the back door or the back of the bus. He said if you control a man's mind, he will automatically find his place and stay in it. And if he goes to the back door and there is no back door, Woodson said he would get a hatchet, an axe, or something and cut one out so that there would be the place to go. Let me tell you, we have some difficult days ahead of us. And we got to know how we got there. We got to know, for example, somebody called me up today, and they found out I was in Springfield, and they said, you know, a bunch of our friends in Springfield, they came down there to see if they couldn't keep the governor from taking their pensions away. And I hate to argue with people and stuff like that. I just don't like to do it with me, you know. I said, my friend, don't you know that the governor can't take your pension away? That there is something called a General Assembly. The General Assembly determines how much money the state of Illinois brings in every year and how much it spends. The governor wish he could do that. I know he wish he could. I just finished talking to him. He wish he could do that. But the real deal, we learned that in the 8th grade. You know, if people really paid attention. I mean, there's a difference between information and education. I maintain that information is something that you got, but education is something that you do. No, my darlings, the governor cannot make those kind of decisions. It takes something called a legislature. Same way President Obama. I go up there to see Barack sometimes, he almost cried. I wish we could get the Republicans in the House. I said, well, Mr. President, take heart. The Lord will make a way somehow. Yes, I wish he could loosen up the hearts of some of them Republicans who vote everything down, who hold up all the money, who won't let anything go, who would rather give tax breaks to the rich than to provide services to the poor, who would rather keep the disparities that we're talking about. Why do you think we're talking about disparities? I mean, well, here's 2020, and we're talking about, can I get a fair shake and a job? Will they hire me because of my qualifications? Every time somebody tells me something like that, I just almost go berserk. And that's because I am a firm believer My mama went to the 8th grade. She had a philosophy about things. She used to tell us good, better, or best. Never let it rest till your good becomes your better and your better becomes your best. Now, she didn't have to be all that educated to know that. She understood that. She understood if you're the best at doing something, I'd be damned if they don't hire you for one thing, they'll hire you for something. I mean, if you good, I got a friend who started his life shining shoes with a shoe shining kit. Walking up and down the street shining shoes. His name is James Cole. Anybody know anything about the street life of Chicago? They know he runs Shine King. Yeah, right there, Shine King, right by Central and Lake. Everybody you can mention been in there to get a shoe shine. Presidents, mayors, governors. Jim is part owner of the bank around the corner. You pass by there in the morning, he'll be standing out there with his overalls on. And if you come in there to get a shoe shine and all the boys are shining, he'll grab him a rag and get up there. Matter of fact, Isaiah Thomas used to shine shoes there. You know, the basketball player. He introduced me to Isaiah. We used to go out to Isaiah's house and stuff, out to his mama's house. My point is, when times get tough, everybody tightens up. Everybody tightens up. So don't let nobody tell you. I heard a commercial the other day on the radio. It say, "Mama, can we go see Grandmama?" And it say, "No, honey, Grandmama don't live there no more." Say, Governor Quinn took away Medicaid that pays for Grandmama to be there. And so we either gonna have to let Grandmama stay with us or pull us the biggest lie I ever put in an egg. It's a lie. I mean, it just is not the truth. Know ye the truth, and the truth shall set you free. And so if you've been laboring under something that is false, then you will do false things. If you begin with a faulty premise, I guarantee you, you will reach a faulty conclusion. So if we make sure that the data that we're operating from is correct, then we can make the correct decision. The last thing I'm going to tell you, let me tell you, we mess around and somehow nothing. Barack Obama don't become president again of the United States, I think I'm going to leave Chicago. I ain't thinking about coming to Springfield. Ain't gonna be no whole lot of money coming in here. Not from the federal government. Not from the federal government. Because the mindset of people on the other side is to cut everything in sight. Food stamps, millions of dollars out of the SNAP program. Pell grants, money for people to go to school. And we've got so many draconian laws. You talk about reentry. Most folks would be shocked to know that there are about 65 million people in this country who got criminal records. Not 6,000, not the 25,000 that come back to the west side every year. 65 million. People got records for everything. And if you got a record, you can't get access to the basic services that people have. I am so glad to see as many black people here in one group, and especially black men. The only place I go and see this many black men at one time is penitentiary.
That's true.
We talk about disparities. Lord have mercy. We're about 14, 15% of the population in America. More than 50% of all the people get incarcerated for crimes committed are African American. More than 50% are African American. We got more people in jail in this country than any other nation in the whole wide world. And I'm talking about countries whose populations are so much greater than ours. You couldn't imagine how much population difference there is. But it happens. It happens every day. It is going on. School districts are closing down. They're closing schools. New forms of education are cropping up because we won't make the commitment to public education that we need to make. And people say, well, we can't do nothing with them schools, so let's start us another little school. And we're sending the smartest kids over to those schools, and at least we don't have to hamper them. We had that fight and that argument back when Booker T. Washington and W.B. Du Bois were arguing about the talented 10. And whether or not we could educate all of our people, or that we just take the cream, 10%, talented 10. But all of these people did good work, and they all made progress, so we just need to build upon that. So I leave you with this little thing that my mama taught me about how to make it. She believed that if you always put your best foot forward, if you really understood, I see some of the people here who were at our town hall meeting the other night. We came up with a list of things that we wanted to make sure the governor, I want you to know, I told the governor everything, everything that we said, we would go tell him, and some. But my mama taught us that if you could get control of yourself, that's the first step in human development, is to get control of self before I start worrying about what somebody else is not doing. Before I worry about what the Republicans are not doing, I got to worry about what I am doing. Before I can worry about somebody else's integrity, I got to worry about mine and make sure that I'm on track. Before I can worry about what my department head did I do all right? And so my mama taught me this little poem that says, I have to live with myself and soul. I want to be fit for myself to know. I want to be able, as the days go by, always to look myself straight in the eye. She said, I cannot hide myself from me. I know what others may never know, and I see what others may never see. I don't want on a closet shelf a lot of secrets about myself, and to fool myself as I come and go, into thinking that nobody else would know the kind of person that I really am. I don't want to dress myself up in a sham. I want to go about with my head erect. I want to deserve all men's respect. But here in the struggle of fame and pelf, I want to be able to like myself. I cannot hide myself from you. But above all, no matter whatever happens, I always want to be self-respecting, and conscience-free. Thank you all. God bless you.